All right, folks. Today we're time traveling again. But park the DeLorean, put down that hoverboard, because we're not here to save George and Lorraine McFly. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Because today we're saving John Connor. All right, David, I am so pumped for today's episode. I feel like we've touched on this from time to time, just throughout different previous episodes that we've done. But today we're going to talk about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Just like a pinnacle movie if you were a 90s kid.
Chill out, dickwad.
I'm really stoked as well, and I agree with you. Pinnacle movie of the 90s and even now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to just... Folks, you can turn it off if you disagree. But it's still, if not the best action movie ever made.
Absolutely.
And it's Arnold's best movie.
Yeah.
And dare I say, James Cameron's best movie.
It's up there. It's definitely up there. Yeah.
You unimaginable bastard.
As a kid, so I got to tell you something. We're dedicating this to Terminator 2, and rightfully so. But I do have an original memory of Terminator 1. For the reason that it was the movie I was sent out of the room for.
Yeah.
But there is a adult scene that young David was never allowed to see.
Which is what, like maybe a 10-second scene? Like it's not like, I feel like as a kid you fill in the blanks of like, what did I just fast forward through? But you watch it as an adult.
Sorry, Mr. Reese, for putting a timestamp on that scene.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to send a formal apology. That's horrible.
I call it the making of John Connor scene. But yes, it wasn't very long, but I was sent out.
Cyborgs don't feel pain. I do.
I was just glued to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, there's something about him that I can't even remember the first Arnold movie I saw. I just always knew who Arnold was as a kid. Like he just, much like we said in the last episode, when we talked about wrestlers from back in the day, he was the epitome of larger than life. Like he was just, and then to have that accent on top of it too, it was just.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
And just his face and his hair, everything about that man is iconic. Like, and so to see him be this kind of my pet Terminator for a young John Connor is super cool.
Why the hell did you do that?
Because you told me to.
Cool. Well, Terminator.
So all of the practical effects of Terminator 2 cost more than the entirety of the budget of Terminator 1. So just the visual effects department was what the whole budget of Terminator 1 was. Like, that's insane. But I think that's why it still holds up today, is they spent a boatload of money on very modern, new ways of doing computer graphics and then doing practical things. Because I didn't know that whole LA scene is a miniature. The tallest building was 3 feet tall.
Oh my goodness.
It was all miniature on a soundstage. And they ended up firing an air cannon straight down into the ground so it would create that blast effect. And then there were parts of the miniatures that they actually put like cornflakes and shredded wheat inside of them so that when they blew with the air cannon, it looked like they were just being vaporized. But they used cereal. Yeah. Like they used cereal like as the practical effects.
When you see Linda Hamilton in T2, that's not the same Linda Hamilton as in T1.
No.
I mean, she is shredded.
Yeah.
She's just jacked and just an ass kicker, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not the same character. So I love her growth.
You broke my arm.
There are 215 bones in the human body. That's one. Now don't move.
I did not even know this, and I rewatched it trying to figure out the difference. But when the T-1000 replicates himself as Sarah Connor, that's her twin sister in real life.
It's crazy. I did not know that at all. Fooled us. Totally fooled us
for sure.
For 30 some odd years. And you see the T-1000 for the first time sprint at the car.
Yeah.
That was horrifying. Like he was so fast And I looked up online, and apparently Robert Patrick trained himself to sprint with his mouth closed because he realized that he's just like, oh, wait, this advanced machine could just like pant out of his mouth. That makes no sense. So like as a human to sprint that fast and only breathe through your nose, like talk about method acting. But it was horrifying. It really was.
He ran so militant and robotic, and his arms were like, just like ice almost, right? How he kept him so straight as he's running.
Yeah.
I love you, Tom Cruise. Mr. Cruise, I know you run a lot in your movies, but Robert Patrick started it, I think.
I think so too.
Tell me another role that's as cool as that.
I feel like I even remember as a kid that like anytime I would sprint across the playground, I would try to just Robert Patrick blade arm it, man. And,
Robert Patrick or Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's very true.
I just felt like running.
I just felt like running.
If you could pick in your mind what was the biggest scene that just really resonated with you as a kid?
It's got to be the end scene, but not the end scene. But it's got to be. There's something about your hero getting their butt kicked and then coming back, and you see like that lightning burst come out of the T-800, and they're just sitting there. And that red eye you talked about, that iconic look fades, and Arnold's just like frozen. I will never, ever, ever forget. Comes back online, pulls the spear through him, and that music plays. I think it speaks volumes when any movie that involves all that stuff we've just talked about, time travel, this and that, but most importantly, they make you forget. We knew Arnold's not a human.
Right.
We know he doesn't feel pain. Dude, he's taken 1,000 shots to the chest. Like, but you're right. It felt like, hey, you're hurting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not hurt my hero. Do not hurt Arnold.
No disassemble. Like, did you ever see Short Circuit?
Yes. Classic.
Yeah, you're just expecting him to disassemble Arnold. Arnold is alive.
Spontaneous emotional response.
I am alive, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that final sequence after all is said and done, and you have Arnold saying he can't self-terminate, and then just the simple line of dialogue of "I know now why you cry."
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, such beautiful dialogue. Like, call me cheesy, like, but my goodness, like, I think that's one of the best lines in cinematic history. It really is.
He wipes the tear.
Yeah, he wipes the tear with his hand. I mean, you see the machine parts through the glove that's been so beat up. Like, wipes the tear. I know now why you cry, but I can never do that. Like, gives me chills to this day. Gets me misty to this day. That's so good.
I finished the movie earlier and I still teared up. Seen this movie so many times, but it still gets you in different ways. And I think in this rewatch, I watched it more through John Connor's eyes, and I put in my notes loss after loss after loss. He always wanted to meet his dad. Yeah. Now he's losing another father figure that he bonded with, and almost like a big brother, but then protector / dad way. All three elements, right? But, as a kid, young David was like, yeah, you can still go with him. Rewatching, his arms off. Yeah. There's no coming back.
No, there's not.
From that.
Yeah.
And that character, Arnold's character knows too, like one final processor, one final chip, he says, and that's the mission accomplished. And I don't know if this was improv. I don't know if it was whatever. The thumbs up. You don't get better than just something as a kid and even as an adult. But when he does it.
Yeah, the transition down. Yeah.
Something so simple.
Yeah.
Maybe movies should take, because it's just like, you don't have to go. I know this movie's like over the top, but in a good way. But little moments like that in an action movie.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
It is. That's the gesture John taught him, was a thumbs up. And for him to give him this final thumbs up as I learned from you and I know what this means, and this is the final thing that I'm giving you, even making it even more meaningful, because a Terminator doesn't know that gesture, but he was taught it by a human that he cared about. Like it's so stupid that it chokes me up.
It's
But
beautiful.
It's beautiful. You're right.
These are words we're using to describe a sci-fi action movie.
Yeah.
I sound like
Starring
a
Arnold
broken record, but-
Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to everyone for listening. Hasta la vista, baby. Was that Elvis?
Oh, baby. Hasta la vista, baby. We're going to keep that in. We're not editing that one out. So, yeah, we'll be back for next week's episode. So, until the next time you see us or hear us, be sure to live your life with just a little bit of whimsy, baby.